didn't do much at all. So I hope everything will be fine next time.
Okay.
But Nigeria people, why they want to put the blame on referee? Like, hey, Nigeria, Nigeria. Okay, bye-bye.
All right, thank you so much. 054-257-1061, 054-257-1061, 054-257-1061. You can call the other number 030-279-4805. Let me take this caller. Hello.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Hello.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, I am Sir Mobutu. I'm calling from Asamankasi.
All right, please go ahead.
Yeah, my brother, we thank God for our lives this morning. And when this competition got to the round 16, I said on this very program, I don't know if it were you who was on the captain's bridge or one of your colleagues, and the highest in Nigeria will get to the semifinals. I said it on this program. The highest in Nigeria will get is semifinals.
Okay.
Why did I say so? You know, they were boosting because they couldn't go to World Cup. It must that they should carry the AFCON.
This is Sporty FM, the voice of sport.
So that person, the person on the Castle Bridge who was on this program, why? I said, look, they are my friends. My first son, or first child, is from a Nigerian woman. Because I worked there. I worked in Nigeria for 7 years.
Okay.
So my first son is from that soil. It's not as if I hate them. They are my good friends. When I meet them in Ghana, anywhere I meet them in the world, I take them as my own friends. But the way they were boosting, they have a very good squad. They have a very good distance. And see where they are now. You know the semifinals? That's been dropped. And I keep Senegal to win the cup.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. 054-257-1061. 054-257-1061. This is the Sporty Breakfast. You can equally send me a WhatsApp message on the same number. Let me take this caller. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Yes. Good morning.
My name is Edmond.
All right, Edmond. Where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from Rich.
All right, please go ahead.
So you see, if you look at the Nigerian match carefully, even you could see that look one. It just looked like a curve chart. If you get what I'm saying, they could not give his best.
Okay.
And if you look at the player that played the defensive game, I think this is the first match he was playing. I think he missed the penalty too. It looked very. I think the pressure got to him, and that made him make some mistakes.
Sporty FM.
That caused them the match. But actually, nobody I actually knew that they would never go to the final. Nigeria should win this cup. Ghana and that. Yeah, so and that. But then also in saying this, I'm saying that our Ghanaian team going to the World Cup should take things very serious.
Okay.
They should have that winning mentality. I know we might not even get anywhere. Let's say close to the kind of saying quarterfinals or independent, but at least they should give us a very good game when they go to the World Cup. And kudos to you guys for doing a good work.
All right, thank you so much. 7:49. We are still taking some calls. We'll get into the AFCON chit chat from about 8. So you can give me a call 054-257-1061 030-279-4805. Let me take this caller. Hello. Okay, all right. The line dropped. All right. 054-257-1061. 054-257-1061. 030-279-4805. 4805. Let me take this caller. Hello?
Hello, Nathan. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Please, how are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm also fine. Yesterday, I realized
you haven't told us your name and where you are calling from.
All right. My name is Kevin, calling from Committee 19.
All right. Please go ahead.
Okay. Yesterday, I realized that, Nigeria had been going through AFCON with a certain quality.
Mm-hmm.
They think that they are entitled.
Okay.
And they started blaming our referees.
Mm.
And I'm shocked. When you check the possession, they got 49.
Mm-hmm.
2 shots.
Mm-hmm.
And 1 shot on target.
Okay.
As against 16 shots and about 5 shots on target from Morocco.
Okay.
And you are expecting to win and saying that our referee is the one who prevented you from going to the finals. Does it really make sense? Because Nigerians love to do this shenanigans and they love to do this cheating, like what the kind of qualification they got and still manage not to qualify for World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
They think that referees are property or something, or FIFA or CAF supposed to have a soft spot for them. In fact, on social media, I'm shocked that they could not even pinpoint the weakness of their team, despite the fact that they have very good players.
Mm.
And they are rather, turning their anger on our referee. When, to me, you Ghanaian journalists, you shouldn't sit down for them to do that.
Okay.
If they start doing it, you people should push so that they will get a sanction for that. Our referee he did so well.
Mm.
I mean, you could see his composure. You could see how he understands the game. And some of the, he got some few, decisions a bit awkward. But, I mean, he did well.
Okay.
So you people shouldn't sit down for the Nigerians to push their lack of qualification on our referee. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. 054-257-1061 030-279-4805. This is the Sporty Breakfast. Let me take this caller. Hello.
Hello, Nathan. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
This is Pepe from Lakeside.
All right, please go ahead.
Okay, so I thought this banter between us and Nigeria was just a fun thing between fans. I didn't know it was going to get to a level where now they have to project all this banter onto, professional officials of our country. I mean, I hope this is just a joke. Otherwise, I mean, we are chatting on a very dangerous ground as things go. Yesterday, you could see that they were contesting every single decision by the referee. And even one time, I remember if I could lip read the referee, he was like, man, I don't like what you're doing, that kind of thing. And I think it really was really bad. I don't know if it was a reverse psychology of forcing the referee to do things in their favor. So they started, we don't like the referees of Ghana, that kind of thing. But I feel that most of the decisions the referee took, any other referee could have taken it. But given, this Ghana-Nigeria thing, they were looking at it differently. So, I don't know. I think Morocco were much better team yesterday, and they deserve the win. After penalties, it could have gone anyway. So, yeah, I don't think he actually made one contentious decision that cost them the game. He went to penalties, and it could have been anybody's game. So, better luck to them next time, yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that. 054-257-1061 030-279-4805. If you want to send us a WhatsApp message, the same number 054-257-1061. Let me take this caller. Hello. Yeah.
Good morning.
Yes.
My name is Francis. My name is Francis, calling from Dodua.
All right, please go ahead, Francis.
Very well. I can't just understand our neighbors, because even if you look at our referee did very well. In fact, I give him 80 over him. Because if you look at the one incident between Osimhen and one guy, These are referee called these two guys. Talk to them. Even explain how he called the incident that it is against Nigeria. And Osimhen understood. So I think why Nigerians are not understanding why they now penalty, even from the referee. You did your own thing. You should have shoot and score and win the game straightforward. You didn't do it. About 10 shots, only 2. Only 2. Do you blame the referee? You blame your own self.
Sporty FM.
Now, somebody is doing all the things right. If you look at the corner kicks, how many corner kicks do you have? Only 1 at the second half. So how do you blame the referee? In fact, our referee has done very well. So we should all have backing. We should back our referee. He has done very good job. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. 7:55. This is still the Sporty Breakfast. You can send me a WhatsApp message on the same number, 054-257-1061. If you want your voice to be heard, you want to give us a call, same number, 054-257-1061. Or the other number, 030-279-4805. Let me take this caller. Hello?
Sporty FM.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
My name is Yuki. I'm calling from Stinkers.
All right, please go ahead.
You see, the officiating yesterday, it was not that bad, but I think Nigeria didn't play well.
Okay.
From that game against Tunisia to the quarterfinals, Nigeria played really well.
Mm-hmm.
They came out to play, but yesterday they were bad on the pitch. So
let me ask you a question. Why do you think things didn't go well for Nigeria? What went wrong, in your opinion, for Nigeria yesterday?
I think Ndidi didn't play. So you see, Onyedika, he was making a lot of mistakes. So I think Nigeria mixed him up so much. So that is where, in the midfield, Nigeria lost it there. Okay. That is where Nigeria lost the game.
Okay. Interesting point. Thank you so much for your call. Right. Interesting point. It says, indeed, this absence affected Nigeria. I'll be getting on the line with Michael Asaibuedu, Gary Al Smith, and other colleagues who are in Morocco. They were watching the game at the stadium. I'd love to hear their perspective. But your comments are still welcome. 054-257-1061. Your calls are equally welcome. 7:57. We'll get the calls at 8. I have a caller on the line. Hello.
Yeah, hello. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, my name is Richard.
Yes, Richard. Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Ho.
Okay, Richard from Ho. All right, let's hear from you.
All right. Thank you so much. I also want to talk about yesterday's game.
Yes, no problem.
And I thought Daniel Lai did his best. He did his best for yesterday. He was very good. I love his composure. I think Nigeria played at their optimal lowest and do not even deserve to go to the final. I don't know why they are now turning all the blame onto the referee. And yesterday, I don't know this thing about Ghanaians that we like seeing through the eyes of the enemy than rather being nationalistic when it comes to matters. Even yesterday on your show, I had a problem. The commentary was okay, but your pundits were so. I think they were so hard on Daniel Lai, and it got me infuriating at a certain point in time. Like, it was too much. It was like the telescope was just placed on every decision that he makes. We have seen referees who have even been worse than this, but still, we encourage them. So I feel yesterday there was just news on Daniel. I think he became the person. He disallowed a goal for Nigeria, or he took a penalty against Nigeria, and that is how come they were not in the final. So I think as Ghanaians, we have to protect our own. Nigeria has a whole population. They couldn't even present one referee to AFCON, but they're here talking about this referee that has busted his ass over the years in CAF games and other games up to this point. It's so unfair. So he did well.
Okay.
I think CAF but let me say this. I think CAF played on the psychology of the Nigerians by appointing a Ghanaian referee when he knew that psychologically it would affect Nigeria. It was a game they played, and they took that chance and it worked. So, Nigeria, God bless them. We love them as our brothers.
Interesting point. All right, thank you so much. All right, we'll pause the calls for now. All my producers, we should take a few more. 2 more. We should take 2 more calls. Okay. Immortal says we should take 2 more calls. So we'll take 2 more calls. 054 257 1061 030 279 4805. Hello.
Hello, Nathan. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Nigerians.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Salom, calling from Achimota.
All right, please go ahead.
I was rooting for them to win this. They just disappointed me because the penalty. How can Okechukwu or whatever? Is that how he takes penalty? Then you blame a referee.
Which player is Okechukwu? Chukwueze.
Chukwueze.
Not Okechukwu. He's Chukwueze.
Good. You see that, and then that number 10. I was so mad, but then it's their own thing. But what happens to Madrid in their cup match?
What happened to them?
Yes.
They lost. They were kicked out of the King's Cup yesterday.
Oh, then are they going to sack this coach again?
And nobody knows what they are going to do now.
Anyway, thank you so much, Nathan.
All right. Thank you. All right, we'll take one more call. My producer Immortal says we should take 2. So I've taken one of the 2. Let me take the last call and then we proceed. Hello. Yes.
I am
Hello. Okay, this one dropped. Okay, we'll take one more. Let me take this one. Hello.
Hello, this is Adjo saying.
Adjo, how are you doing?
I'm fine.
Yes, let's hear from you, please.
Let's tonight, football actually won. Football won, Chelsea lost, Real Madrid lost, and Nigeria. So I'm so happy. Football won everywhere. And we do Chelsea lost. We are all happy.
I see. Adjoa, thank you. Thank you so much.
This is Sporty FM.
She does football once. Wow. Okay. It looks like we have a call coming. Okay, let me take this last one. Hello.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Quao.
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from, please?
Please, Justin here, Pastor.
Okay, please go ahead.
Well, I think I'll touch more on Real Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
So what influenced their decision to sack Alonso?
What influenced their decision to sack Alonso?
Was it the performance? Or maybe
so
things behind the scenes.
Yeah, the two main things. One, they said the performances were not good, capped off by the fact that he lost to Barcelona and lost to Atletico 5-2, and those are cardinal sins. And then the other reason was that he didn't have the dressing room on his side anymore, so they decided to get rid of him.
Oh, so you see, Barcelona beating Real Madrid, I mean, it's no news. You see, as big as Real Madrid is, you see, a lot of people lose respect for Real Madrid because of what Barcelona is capable of doing to them. Because if you look at an entity like Real Madrid, I mean, the club is so big, it's so huge. But over the years, they will spend fortunes on players and still Barcelona. I remember 2005 at the Bernabeu, they had all the best players in the world, and still Ronaldinho ran the show for Barcelona. So if you look at the squad,
but at that time Real Madrid didn't have Ronaldinho, did they? Ronaldinho is a different animal. He's a different beast. So you can have everybody, and somebody has Ronaldinho. Yeah.
Yes. So, but that time, I think Florentino Perez will be thinking that, oh, I didn't buy Ronaldinho. We have all the players in the world. And just a single Ronaldinho relation for Barcelona. So Real Madrid, I think they should calm down, because if you look at a decent company, you see, I was asking myself, why would a coach take a team, back to the championship, and upon all the managers in the world, the decent company was the manager that Bayern Munich wanted to appoint. You see, they were then looking at the performance of the team after the players. And now they appointed a decent company, and look at what he's doing for Bayern Munich. Real Madrid, I think they should have given Alonso some time, because if you look at the players, they are not world-class players. I mean, if you take out Kylian Mbappe, take out Vinicius, the rest of them are good players, but they are not world-class. So I think they should have given him some more time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Real Madrid. Anyway, they are a very interesting topic. All right, 6 minutes after 8. This is still the Sporty breakfast. My producer, should I still take calls? We should end. But okay, let me take this one. Just one. Let me take this last one. This caller is very fortunate. Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
I've already called on the program.
Yes.
This very morning.
Yes.
But I would like you to do me a favor.
Yeah.
Please, I would like to have the contact for Latina Travels. The contact number.
For which entity, please?
Latina Travels.
Latina Travel. Okay. It's not directly in front. Okay. Okay. My producers will get in touch with you.
Okay.
Yes, my producers will get in touch with you and give you the number.
Okay.
All right.
I only remember 0244 but 3.
No problem. My producers will get in touch with you and give you the number.
If you don't allow them to keep in touch with me, I will fight you.
No, don't worry. They'll get in touch with you. So
okay.
Let's take it easy.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right.
Sporty.
Oh man. 7 minutes after 8. This is still the Sporty breakfast. You can send me a WhatsApp message 054 257 1061. 054 257 1061. We'll get into the AFCON chit chat in a bit. There are so many angles to this. So many angles to the AFCON thing. And so many things are happening even after some teams have been knocked out of the AFCON, because some countries have made coaching changes, okay? They've made coaching changes in terms of their national team setups following their respective exits from the AFCON. Your comments are welcome. 054 257 1061. 054 257 1061. Calvin Owusu-Ansah is joining me. It's 9 minutes after 8. We'll get to the line. Michael Asaibodu is also joining us. He is in Morocco, and we'll be getting some very local, on-the-ground perspective to everything that has happened in the AFCON. You can equally send us your WhatsApp messages. 054 257 1061. Send me a WhatsApp message 054 257 1061. I don't know what you want to talk about. Do you want to talk about the AFCON? Do you want to talk about EFL Cup? Do you want to talk about Ghana Premier League, women's football? Let's not forget that the women's AFCON will be the draw for the group stage of the women's AFCON will be done today. So we'll find out where Ghana will be placed. Okay? And then we'll find out Ghana's group stage opponents. And then we'll see how it will all come together for the women's AFCON. All right, let's get into the conversation. As I said, Kelvin Owusu is back in the studio. And Michael Asaibedu is joining us on the line. Michael, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm good.
Wonderful. I see that the bomber jacket is off. Are we to assume that
today is off?
The weather is friendly?
The sun is out.
The weather is friendly this morning.
Yeah.
I can sense it in your voice. You are happy that the sun is out this morning. How is you were in Rabat? Were you in Rabat or Tangier?
No, Tangier.
How is Tangier this morning after Senegal progressing, because the place was adopted by the Senegalese? But how is larger Tangier like after Morocco also made the finals? How are the locals celebrating last night's result?
So yesterday during the Senegal-Egypt game, the Moroccans connived with the Senegalese to jeer at the Egyptian players. It was that loud. It was that clear in the stadium. Anytime Egypt held onto the ball for even 2 seconds, you could hear whistles, boos, jeers. And I think that gave me the impression of how the day was going to be like in the stadium, outside the stadium, and then across the streets. So after the Senegal game, it was loud cheers, but the focus was on the Moroccan game. And every cafe that you passed by definitely had people that were crowded and observing the match, because a lot of them had come to the stadium to watch the Egypt versus Senegal encounter, and they did not want to leave. Even at the stadium, as at the time I was done with my reports and everything and leaving, they were showing the Morocco-Nigeria game on the 2 giant screens. And then the volunteers and almost everybody was seated watching the Nigeria match. And that was how the mood was like. Now, you could hear from very far and near places chants of, ooh, ah. And that gave you the indication Morocco were close to scoring or otherwise. But after the penalty shootout and it became evident that Morocco had qualified to the final to play against Senegal, you could hear cars honking their horns, motorbikes preaching, you could hear people shouting, and definitely the people of Tangier were rejoicing to Morocco's qualification to the AFCON 2025 final. And it's their first final since 2004. So yeah, it be fair to say. But after yesterday, a new day, almost everybody is back to his business, doing 1 or 2 things, what they are expected to do. But they did really enjoy the moment yesterday.
Wonderful. I'll come back to you in a bit to talk about the game you observed, Senegal versus Egypt, and then we'll pick the bones from that. But let me go to the phone line. We've been joined by the chairman of the Referees Association of Ghana, Mr. George Seja. We want to get his thoughts on what he witnessed or what he made of referee Daniel Lai's performance. Mr. Seja, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine.
Wonderful. Great stuff. Happy New Year. We haven't spoken in 2026.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you. She's not spoken at all, yes. That's true.
Great stuff. Your thoughts on referee Daniel Lai's performance? He had a huge game on his hands yesterday. He was in the middle of Morocco versus Nigeria. Some Nigerians are very upset with his performance. Some people think he didn't do well. Some people are commending him. From a professional perspective, what did you make of your colleague referee's performance yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday was one of the, if a performer, I would not say he got it 100%, because definitely with a game, every referee would actually have that particular thought and notion in your mind that you go in and ensure that you do not commit any mistake at all. But whatever that we do, we have some few things that may crop up. But I tell you yesterday, if I were to be the assessor or the match commissioner seated right in, I'll say, Rabat, to actually observe what is happening and commission, I would have given him 9 over 10, because it's one of the it's the toughest game of the tournament. If you observe that, that is the toughest game. I'll not be surprised. This may be the final of the final of the final. I'm telling you, it was one of the toughest games, and everybody attested to that particular fact. Initially, when he took off, you could see clearly that he managed the game as a FIFA referee. Yesterday, practically, you could see clearly that he managed the game. He was to say he's going to be extremely tough. Either the game would have ended with just all of them losing about 2 or 3 players each. And that would have been bad for them because whoever qualifies to get to the final, don't forget that everybody around the world would like to watch good football with good players playing good football. But you get to the final and they are all missing out, then what happens? But that does not mean if any of them should commit that particular, let's say, commit this particular infringement that requires them being sent off, you would have said no, he will not be because he's actually he did his best yesterday. I recall last night going through some handles, and I know some of our brothers in Nigeria weren't happy that there was a penalty he didn't. You can imagine the ball touched the body before getting to the hand, and that is the rule. Once it touches the body before getting to the hand, it's not from the body, his own body, the player's own body. And you can see it wasn't an intention that he definitely put it there to release the ball into his hand and then, no, he's not done that too. And I'm very sure, remember, the VAR were active yesterday. A lot of people were around and they saw exactly what happened. It was one of the toughest games. I tell you, the guy did very, very well. Fortunately, they put each other to the 90th minute, 120 minutes, and to the penalty kicks. Was he there to actually help another person to kick the ball into the net? No. Opportunities were there 50-50 for everybody until the end of the 90th minute, the 90 plus 120, then penalty kicks. So if you kick and you did not actually get your way through, and I know, sometimes when a game is lost, it's painful, but there's nothing you can do about it. That is football, and that's what makes the game interesting. And don't forget, it's just like a court case. When 2 combatants are in the courtroom, whoever wins is the best judge. If you lose, the judge didn't even treat me well. I should have actually been listening to. And that is what is happening. It tells you that the guy was in the middle of the game and of the match, and he did his best. He put his right foot forward, and I tell you, he did extremely well, marvelously well. I tell you, that is it.
Great. You said if you were rating him, you'd give him 9 over 10. Just take me through, from an assessor's perspective, what are the things referees are graded on? So, for example, if you were watching Daniel Lai at the stadium yesterday, what are the key indicators you'd be checking, or you'd be ticking to give him an overall grade?
That's very good. Thank you very much. Some of the, the points that you need to look at is, some of them are, 1, you look at the interpretation of the law, the laws of the game. Law 1 to Law 17. You implement everything. And the amendments for 2025-2026 or 2024-2025, you look at all the amendments along and interpret it to the best of your knowledge and your ability. It's something that you cannot perform below. If you can go below, there will be difficulty. And I was very happy because he was always close within the penalty area, which is one of the most delicate areas that every referee would like to observe and watch closely. The angle of view was very good. He was watching and picking almost all the infringements. And you could see clearly that he followed up play. And ensured virtually every infringement that occurred, he picked. The ones that the assistant referees also took, he was there to correspond. And there was nothing like contradiction. There was teamwork. That is it. Apart from that, you look at the stamina. Was he actually lacking something? No. He covered almost the blades and ensured he got within all the gates. There are gates on the field of play. You may not understand, but those who are technical people within the referee fraternity will tell you that.
Okay.
We have gate 1, gate 2, gate 3. He got to all the gates and ensured these things were properly done. The action sports were observed, and he never allowed anybody. You can see clearly that if he had decided to raise himself, he said, okay, he was going to be extremely strict. That would have marred the beauty of the game. So he had to cool the temper and manage it from minute 1 to 120. I tell you, he managed the game. As a professional, he managed it very, very well. These are the points about the stamina. They will look at everything, look at the cooperation between he himself, his assistants, the four referee, and the VR team. These are some of the points that you look at to actually do the grading. So in a nutshell, I'll say that's exactly what we look at for in order to get the referee to get all these points done. Besides this, you look at the communication. At a point, you saw that he ran out to seek some help from his fourth referee.
Yes.
It means perhaps he was not getting the thing, he was not hearing some of the words, or maybe along the line, the guy just shifted a little because he was running so well, you could see clear that there was power. And that was exactly what actually made him to run out and seek some support. Look, help me put this thing through and let's see how we manage and get this thing done. So you can see clear that the guy was on top. For once, I would dove my head and say, this is a confirmation that at least Ghanaian referees are still working. There's more room for improvement. I will not say he got 10 over 10. That one, I will not come to that. But I know clearly, now that he's there, he was a lone ranger. He's the only person carrying the flag of Ghana in that particular tournament at the moment. Apart from, there are some of the officials who are within the ESCO at that particular top. He was in the trenches and he was on the field of play. He was the VR. So it's like a jack of all trades for referees in Ghana. He represented us. My main issue is this, that we are optimistically thinking that looking at getting some of our referees to join him within the next few years, when the next AFCON is sounded at around East Africa, where the next bus will stop. We shouldn't have only one person, but more. At least more than 1 or 2 or 3 people. Yes, we'll be done. We'll not clear that we are getting back onto how we were. Those days before we retired as FIFA referees, 8 times AFCON was being organized. At least you could find 2 or 3 Ghanaian referees within that particular fraternity. So if he's the only person holding the flag, raising the flag of Ghana high, he needs to be encouraged and given a pat at the back so that we will encourage others and tell them to emulate whatever that he's doing right now. So we'll get to the top. And that's our main objective and nothing else. Development and training should be the main focus for all referees at the moment, back in Ghana here.
Okay, I mean, because I was about to ask you what would get more referees there, but you preempted my question, and you've stated that development, training, those are the 2 things that will get more Ghanaian referees to be part of some of these big competitions. Mr. Seja, thank you. Thank you so much for speaking with us this morning. We really appreciate your time, and we'll speak again soon.
Okay, thank you, and God bless you. Have a nice, wonderful evening.
All right, take care then. That was Chairman of the Referees Association of Ghana, Mr. George Seja, giving his opinion and thought on referee Daniel Lai. We'll talk about Daniel Lai in a bit, but I don't know if we have initial comments. Okay, maybe we can stick to Senegal, Egypt, and then when we get to Morocco, Nigeria, we'll get into that. Michael, let me come back to you. I see that the shades are on.
Last killer.
Yeah. The superstar shades are on. You were at Egypt's game with Senegal. Just take us through everything from start to finish, how it was like pre-game, during the game itself, some of the things you observed, and the atmosphere in the stadium post-match after Senegal booked their ticket to their 3rd AFCON final in 4 years.
Okay, so before the game, I think we did the space where I spoke about the intensified security measures to ensure that the game will be played incident-free and all that. And the moment the Moroccans or the locals see a black African, they say Senegal. It was the default greeting. Allez Senegal, allez Senegal. So I had a lot of people refer to me as a Senegalese, and I will later have to clarify that I am not a Senegalese, I'm a Ghanaian. And they were surprised to see me amongst them. But I think With the game prop to the game proper.
But Michael, you look like one. You look like Abdul Diallo.
He looks like Abdul Diallo.
Hey, Abdul Diallo. Did I lie?
No. So back to the conversation, Karen. Behave. The conversation. So when we did a space, and even the preview we did yesterday in the morning on the Sporty breakfast, I told you that Senegal will not change. They've always been that team known for control and then patience. They want to exert themselves on the opponent, play their game, and play it their way. If it is not working, they will bide their time and continue to do it repetitively. When the results start to come, then everybody will see that it is the right reward for all the patience that they exhibited. And that is exactly that played out in the game against Egypt. Egypt needed to adapt. And I think it is testament to how fast Senegalese football has grown. Because on the script, if Senegal are playing Egypt in the semi-final of the AFCON, definitely we know by pedigree, by class, by achievement, Egypt should be up there. So it will look like Senegal would then need to adapt and adjust their game plan according to the Egyptians. But it was the reverse. In yesterday's game, Egypt rather had to adjust their game and adapt to how Senegal wanted to play. So everybody who watched the first half, for those who are interested in football being an end-to-end action, this one takes it to the other, and then it is back and forth. They will call the first half a drab performance. They will call it a boring game because Egypt did not really give us what we expected. You could see Senegal had the intention to attack, but they were struggling to find the spaces to operate from. And again, when we were doing the discussions yesterday, per the statistics, and where Senegal attacked, they mostly used their flanks, but their major action area in terms of attacking actions was from the middle. So they will play through the flanks, Crepin Diatta, Iliman Ndiaye on the right, then Alhaji Malik Diouf, and also whoever it is, Sadio Mane on the left. But they will mostly invert and like to cross the ball into the box or outside the box so that a player can have a shot. That is exactly the template they used in almost all the games that they've played in. They did it against Sudan. Pape Gueye scored 2 goals out of it. They did it against Mali. A goal came out of it, courtesy Iliman Ndiaye. And then yesterday too, they were trying it throughout the first half, but the Egyptians had just overcrowded their penalty box and also just outside their penalty box. In fact, when Egypt were without possession, you could see as many as 8 Egyptian outfield players closer to their penalty area than they were to the center line. And so it became a bit problematic for Senegal to find a way through. And there were a lot of oohs and ahs in the stands. You could hear fans, but you could hear them cheering their players on. And I must emphasize, there were a lot of Senegalese fans than Egyptian fans yesterday. One, the locals from Senegal, and then 2, the Moroccans who had come, some even wearing Senegalese jersey, all in a bid to support the Senegalese team. Back from recess, I was expecting Pape Thiaw to make changes, especially in terms of personnel, because without space, Nicholas Jackson is just like a fish out of water, so uncomfortable. He can't play. He's not a player that can really excel in tight spaces. He needs space to run into. And he was mostly running into Egyptian players. Like, they had barricaded the area to the extent that Jackson was not given that freedom of movement. So I thought he should have been subbed off. But Pape Thiaw stuck to him, and Senegal came and repeated what they were doing in the first half. But this time around, they intensified things. And you could see that it made Egyptian players a bit uncomfortable. And through such an instance, Sadio Mane profited from a ball, and then he scored. 1, when the goal was scored, the Egyptian players rushed on the referee, and then they were complaining because they feel an incident prior to Mane having the ball and taking that shot should have resulted in a foul for Egypt. So the referee told them to hold on, relax, and then I think there was a communication between the referee and then his VAR team. And then the VAR team gave the all clear that wasn't a foul and they should go ahead and then award the goal. So the goal was awarded. That was when Egypt showed an intent to play. But Nathan, Egypt had their first shot on target after 90 minutes. That is how bad they were offensively. The first shot on target they had was after 90 minutes. And so yesterday after the game, post-match press conference, I think Sadio Mane is a true professional. Even after the game on the pitch, he went round the pitch to just shake the hand of every Egyptian player and console them. He went all the way to where Mo Salah was standing. Salah was around the center circle. Mane went to him, and then they embraced each other, and then he consoled him, went ahead to do everything that he was supposed to do. Then Salah, you could clearly see he was distraught. He was very crestfallen. You could see that, like, I don't know what exactly he was thinking, but if I'm to deduce from his body language, this will likely be Salah's last AFCON. He won't play again. And the reality dawned on him that he had gone through a phase with this Egyptian team. Yes, they've qualified for the World Cup 2018. They were there. They have qualified for the World Cup 2026, 2022. They missed out. And again, they have played in the AFCON final under him against Cameroon, again against Senegal, and they have failed to win. They were bidden to make the final, and they have failed once again. Yet another AFCON heartache. And I think the reality dawned on him. Maybe in Egypt, how they assess their football legends and everything, they will still want to rate the Mohamed Abu Trikes ahead of Mo Salah because of this single thing, failing to win the AFCON. And I think it dawned on him. He fell so down. Like you didn't really see the Mo Salah you expect, but it is all part of the game. But I think he also did something that exemplified true leadership. He went to almost every young Egyptian player who looked like unconsolable, and then he tried to speak to them. When Salah was exiting the pitch, there was Imam Ashur, who had distanced himself from the rest of the players, and he was sat just behind the Egyptian dugout. Salah went to him, embraced him, and then he encouraged him. And that also showed true leadership. But you can clearly see that this is not what Mo Salah expected. And then in probably his last AFCON, he was very heartbroken, very, very heartbroken. But at the post-match press conference, it was Sadio Mane who came first, and everybody had to just stand up, give him an ovation, and applaud him. And Mane was asked a question about the game. Then he volunteered information on Egypt, praised them for how classy they were, how much of a top team they were. It's unfortunate that Salah, his former teammate, is not able to realize his dream, but he's wishing them well. And Egypt played a very good game. Like, he sang praises for the Egyptians. This continued for like close to a minute before he came to assess the game. He even said that he could go on and talk about Egypt, but he's not here to do that. But all that he wants to say is that they are a quality team, and then he's just wishing them well in the future. Then he went on to speak about the match, how difficult it was, and why Senegal eventually won. Went ahead to answer a string of questions and all that. I think he spoke in French and said this will likely be his last AFCON.
Yeah.
He spoke in French. He said this will be his last AFCON. But in English, he spoke on a wide range of issues about the game, about the team, and then everything that they have to do, and that they will need to prepare for the final. Whoever it is that they have to face, whether Nigeria, whether Morocco, they know it will be a tough game, and they will need to prepare very well and do better than they did in the game that they played in. And that was Sadio Mane. It was a turn of Hossam Hassan. They call him Captain Hassan. He came, he sat down, and for the first time during this tournament, he spoke in English.
That's an interesting one.
Exactly. And I think he wanted to send a message.
Okay.
This is what he said. It is not fair. It is not fair that we have to play 2-3 days after Ivory Coast and Senegal got to rest. It is not fair that we have to travel from Agadir to Tangier, and Senegal has stayed here throughout. The organizers of the tournament have not been fair to us. Those were his words. And I was like, okay, so he wants to send that message clear. And he knows, because it wasn't a question that was asked him in English. He was asked to just speak to how the game went. And he decided to deliver that message first before going ahead to talk about whatever thing that he wanted to talk about. And this is something that he echoed in his pre-match press conference when he spoke about Senegal having an advantage and all that. And so after the game, especially after Egypt lost, and he came to say this, I think maybe he was trying to divert attention from the performance of his team. But you know, the Egyptian journalists, definitely they will ask those questions.
Yeah.
At the point in time, I didn't understand the Arabic, but of the press conference I had attended that involved Osama San earlier, he didn't really speak for longer periods than he did yesterday. One question, and he would take like 3-4 minutes to stress or hammer his point. And at a point in time, he spoke in a loud tone. I don't really understand the words he spoke. And I don't want to presume that he was angry or whatever, because maybe the tonation might be loud, but he would just be expressing himself in an exuberant manner. So I don't want to go there. But you could clearly tell that he was trying to hammer home a point, trying to whip up enthusiasm about the team, that although they have lost to Senegal, and they've lost their objective of going on to win the competition, they should draw positives from their performance in this team. And he kept on emphasizing semi-final. There was one thing that he said, which he spoke in English, said, "We are Egypt, 7-star." Then he did the crest like this, 7-star. And then I think he was trying to tell them not to lose hope. They will go back, work on things, and prepare for the World Cup. And you could hear the Egyptian journalists this time around rallying behind him, and then at least trying to support him. But you could clearly see he was a troubled man. He was not happy. And then he wanted them to have a feel of everything that the team was going through. Then he finished his press conference, he left. Paptia also came, he did his own thing, and then he also left. So basically that is what happened yesterday, before the game, during the game, and after the game. But I must say, Tangier has been very good to Senegal. And if Senegal eventually win this competition, I think they need to find a way to thank the people of Tangier. They've been very supportive of the team.
Very interesting points there. Kelvin, I'll come to you in a second, but before, today's Ken Bediakun's 85th birthday. So happy birthday to the legendary Ken Bediakun. He turns 85 today. We wish him the very best. All best wishes from all the journalists he's mentored up close and from afar, and best wishes from his entire family. And that message came in. So happy birthday to you, Mr. Ken Bediakun. Thank you so much for all the work you've put in. You had to walk so many of us could follow. So thank you so much for the work, and all the best, and enjoy your day. Kelvin, your thoughts on Senegal 1, Egypt 0. Senegal getting through to their third AFCON in 4 years, and Sadio Mane has a shout and a chance at winning his second AFCON, this weekend when they play Morocco in the final.
Well, I'll be glad it happens that way if he wins it. He's just been an excellent footballer. Going into the game, I was expecting this, that I had said it several times, and I think that even on our page, if you can remember, I fought with FC Novarites that I don't think Egypt, it was Cote d'Ivoire who let it go. Odilon Kosono in that challenge that gave Egypt the first goal was just their ticket to just sealing the game, because if they score first, you are doomed. They leave Salah and Mamouche on either flank, and then they just strike the ball to them on a counter break. Odilon Kosono decided to slide, and then when Mamouche got the goal, the game was just done, because Cote d'Ivoire had to chase it, and then the Egypt got the second goal. They equalized, right? They got the consolation, tried to, get the equalizer, and then they were hit with the third before they managed to get one to make it 3-2. Now, judging from yesterday's game, there's too much quality in the Senegalese team.
Okay.
Too much quality. And for me, I don't think that Papi Thiaw has enough trouble telling these players what to do. If a player like Papi Gueye is playing with Thomas Partey and Partey sits on the bench for Papi Gueye to play, it tells you the kind of quality that young man has. Khalid Koulibaly is going off, and in his place, Sa, who is a 20-year-old who plays for Olympic Lyonnais, is coming on. It tells you the kind of quality. Idrissa Ganagay, at his age, is still playing wonderfully for Everton.
Yeah.
He leaves the team, and you clearly see, that gap that is left. You cannot say anything less about Sadio Mane. He's seen it all, from England to Europe, Germany. Now he's in the Gulf.
Yes.
He's played with arguably some of the best. He's won the biggest trophies, and he's won this trophy before. And at the back, they have a goalkeeper who has had all the experience. He's won it before. He's played for Chelsea. Top goalkeeper at all levels. Nicholas Jackson, Iliman Ndiaye. Just look at the quality they have. Even to the point that a player like Lamine, Kamara is just on the bench. He's not getting an opportunity to play. He doesn't start. I just looked at the game, and I think that Egypt had a plan.
Okay.
Let's just frustrate them. Let's keep them away from scoring. They can dominate, have all the ball, but when we get it, we are going to strike it. I think their main point was looking at whom they were going to stop in the Senegalese team, like they did against Frank Kessié when they played against Cote d'Ivoire.
Yes.
Because Kessié was more like the live wire of the Ivorian team, the person who could create goal-scoring opportunities. They were looking for him to just, frustrate their opponents. But it couldn't happen that way because the Senegalese team is all-rounded. They have quality across the pitch. Look at how Malik Diouf just silenced Mohamed Salah yesterday. On the right-hand side, Crepin Diatta. I was expecting Mamouche to actually, give him a hit.
Yeah.
And it's the reason why I have lots of confidence in what Semenyo does and how he's going to get a place, mostly in Pep Guardiola's team and Manchester City. Because Mamouche seems to be, stuck at one dimension. That he doesn't give you a lot. He doesn't give you so much for you to reveal about him. It is only when he's fed with the ball, with lots of space, that you can see him thrive properly. But without the ball, it becomes difficult. For me, I was questioning it after the 60th minute. I was asking myself, can Senegal break that defense? Because if you have Rami Rabia, Hossam, that Abdel Majid guy, and then there's this Yasser Ibrahim.
Yeah.
They were just locked up in that defense. And it got to a point, Marwan Ati and Hamdi Fati were also sitting very deep. They were not moving. The only players who were moving were just Hani and then Fatu, because they were playing as wing backs, and then to support Salah, Imam Ashu, and then Omar Mamouche. Their game plan actually was to just stifle Senegal, but Senegal did not allow that because there's too much movement. I don't know how many people expected Habib Diarra to start the game and play like he did yesterday.
Yeah.
Brilliant display from him. Brilliant display. And I think, they've given us a dose of how to kill Egypt. I think many were saying that, yes, Egypt were good, they were good in the 2006, 2008, brilliant. 2010, that was when they started playing that haram ball. They would defend and stifle you. Ghedo comes on, he gets the goal, and that's the end of the game. And that was how they managed to win. So after that period, people realized, come on, they don't have the brilliance of Barakat, Abu Treka, and the like. So what do? Let's just see how they play. They'll play try to hit on the breaks. And then when you are able to keep them at bay, then that's it. And that is what they have actually thrived on. But Senegal knew them so well. And I love what they did. But, there are times maybe I may be going too much into this, but when things become too difficult, the good works of Sadio Mane pays out for Senegal at crucial moments.
Yeah, but that's why you have big players, right?
Yes. It's not just because he is big. I think that he has too much goodwill of a player.
Okay.
All because of his good works. His good works for his country. And even in Europe.
I get what you mean.
Where he plays.
Yes.
Remember his community service in Liverpool, when he goes to the mosque and then they finish praying, he decides to actually clean the entire place with the cleaners. He doesn't care about that. His charity works, 2019, building a school in Bambali. He served laptops and even gave money to the best, students. 2020, donated to the COVID-19 fight in Senegal. And I think that actually even it helped them to win that 2021 AFCON that was played in 2022.
Yeah.
And then he continued to donate 500,000 for a hospital to be built in his hometown, Bambali, which serves neighboring communities which are even bigger, because a little over 2,000 people live in Bambali. And if you have such a free-spirited man, yesterday Michael was pointing something that he spoke extensively about. After the game, you could see how he was telling the rest of the Senegalese team, calm down, just calm down. He didn't want anybody to lose his sanity. It tells you the kind of, even when there was a scuffle between the two dugouts, the technical benches, you see there was that engagement, that rift. He came all the way, told his players, just move away, told his coach, you are the man here, just make sure you control everyone. And then Papi Thiaw started just moving the rest of his technical men away. Look at that goal. We've seen Shenawi save better efforts, better shots on target. But look at where that ball came from. He just couldn't sight it. He couldn't make a move. And this tells you that there are times, you need something extra, something extraordinary, that goodwill, that luck out of nowhere to fall for the team. And I think that, and it did not fall for any other person. It fell to him. The ball had already messed up because there was a block.
Yes.
After a hit, was it Ilima Ndiaye or it was Nicola Habib Diarra? It was a poor hit from him, and it was blocked.
And then Sadio Mane was
exactly. Many were thinking, he was going to recycle the ball and make a pass, but instinctively he just went with it, and he managed to get the goal. He came at the right moment and in the right time. He made sure that that sucker punch was served Egypt in the right place. I think Senegal deserved this, but how it became too difficult for them. But they managed to sail through, and I am happy. But one thing that I'm also happy with was Koulibaly getting injured and going off,
because it was on a yellow. He was going to miss.
Thank you.
The next game, whether it was a final or the third place player.
Thank you. And I have always said that if you look at the Senegalese team, the weakest link for them is that part, because there is Crepin Diatta
and then
Kalidou Koulibaly. Koulibaly is out of pace. Crepin Diatta is not your adapt right back.
No. He's a winger who's been forced to play at right back.
So the least opportunity you have in between him and Koulibaly, you are good to go. And when Mamouche is a player who thrives on scraps, you were always going to be sure that there was going to be a scrap that would be left by Koulibaly, and then he will pounce on. But once he left and then Sarr came on, I was like, oh, hallelujah. Senegal have an able body who is not going to take chances, and then he's going to perform very well for them, and without blemish, and he's not aged, he could match up with the pace of Mamouche and all that. So good victory for Senegal. They totally deserved this, and I didn't think Egypt were going to go through. But it was a tournament. You don't have to always play beautifully and good to progress.
Exactly.
But I think with how tactical and technical the game has been, if you have any good manager, any intelligent manager who manages to fish out the weakness in opponent, you are always able to get through. And Senegal, did everything within their minds to make the progression. And like I said, grace and luck fell or had to shine on Sadio Mane on the day. And he managed to do that brilliantly for Senegal to send them through. This is the third time he's actually providing that sucker punch against Egypt.
Yeah.
In 2021 AFCON, I was there, 2022, the penalty shootout, he scored the winning goal.
Yeah.
When they played the World Cup qualifying, he was there to make sure that he was going to score the winning goal, and he did justice to that. And this time around, the only goal, doesn't it tell you something? He just has that sort of grace, that sort of goodwill on him, and it worked perfectly for Senegal. Thankfully, I think they should go in and then win their second trophy.
Well, we'll see what happens over the weekend. Michael Asaibrado, let me just get your thoughts on the game itself. Did you get the sense it was going to end the way it ended, with Senegal going through either regulation time, extra time, or the shootout, or it was one moment that broke for Senegal? They took that opportunity, grabbed the tickets, and they've made yet another AFCON final.
Yep. In fact, I was not surprised with the approach that was adopted by Egypt. And if you've observed their last few games they've played, talk of the two teams, it's been quite attritional. You would have to always expect one moment of brilliance to decide it. Don't forget, in the 2022 World Cup qualifiers, Egypt won 1-0 at home, Senegal won 1-0 at home, and then they used penalty shootout to qualify at Egypt's expense. At the 2021 AFCON final, again, it was a similar story. They played goalless throughout, and Senegal emerged victorious via penalty shootout. So whenever Egypt and Senegal has had to face each other, whether in times past or in recent past, I think it is mostly very tight. And that is exactly how things were. And I think what helped the Senegalese team was that they had experienced players in there who had knowledge and had experienced this Egypt before, judging by their previous engagement. Idrissa Gana Gueye, Edouard Mendy, Sadio Mane himself. So they knew what they had to do to get victory against them. So I was expecting eventually Senegal's quality would just determine this encounter because there was no way Egypt was going to score. And Calvin rightly nailed it. The moment when Kalidou Koulibaly left, yes, he left with a certain leadership, but I think that was transferred directly to Idrissa Gana Gueye. And if we are praising Mamadou Sarr for how well he played, it is because of the role Idrissa Gana Gueye adopted afterwards. From then, he did not really move forward. What he did was to just situate himself between Niakite and then Mamadou Sarr. So the moment there was a ball that will evade one of these centre-backs, he will be there to mop up the danger and then deal with it. And he was always there guiding them and directing them. I think these leaders in the Senegal team also helped to guide them and then help them to settle and play their game. I knew it was going to come. I knew that moment, like what I did not really see from Senegal in the first half was maybe they were too relaxed. Maybe they were too patient. In the second half, they added a bit of urgency to it. And we all knew it won't be long before a goal comes. And you could sense it. You could feel it. And with every ball that Egypt had and then conceded possession to Senegal, you could sense that something was actually coming. So yes, it is actually how I saw things panning out, whether in 90 minutes or extra time. But penalties could have been a different ball game because we know that penalty shootout, it is not really about how well you've prepared or the quality you have. At times, you also need luck to be on your side. But for the normal minutes and the extra time, if there was a team that I was tipping to win, judging by what I saw on the field of play, it was definitely Senegal and no other team.
What do you think Egypt should and will take away from this? Another AFCON opportunity lost for Mo Salah. We don't know if he will come back for one more try. But what do you think they will or maybe should take away from this experience?
I think, judging by this AFCON and how things have transpired, I think the African game is changing and Egypt need to embrace it. One, I particularly think the Arab Spring did not do Egyptian football a lot of good in terms of infrastructure, in terms of the fan attendance at their respective games and all that. But I also think it somehow affected their production line and they weren't able to produce top quality players to replace those who were leaving. It is only recent times where we've seen an improvement in terms of the production line regarding Egyptian boys. And we've seen them play at the Olympic Games. We've seen them qualify to play in some of the age limit tournaments and all that, which is very positive. But I think that won't be enough. There seems to be an issue with the quality of talent Egypt is producing. And maybe they can tap into this whole crave for diasporan talent. Nigeria is doing it. Morocco is doing it. Yes, Morocco have invested heavily into their football. They have the Mohammed V Football Academy, which is churning out talents every year. But they are still looking out for some of the best Moroccan talents who were born in the diaspora, bring them on board, and then draft them into the team. And that is how come we are seeing Brahim Diaz do everything that he's doing with them. But for nothing at all, he would have been representing Spain Ismail Saibari could have played for either of Belgium or the Netherlands. So I think Egypt will need to tap into that. Where was Omar Mamouche developed? Where was he born? I think Omar Mamouche is not your typical Egyptian boy. I think there's a bit of Canada related to him. And he was born in Egypt, but groomed somewhere outside. So Egypt will need to also look out for diasporan talent to blend with the local boys that they will be able to assemble and then help them to become better. 2, they will need to encourage more of their players to move out and get that necessary exposure. Hugo Broos said this with the South African team, that one thing that they lack is the exposure. Because, and you could see it, when Lars Foster was on the ball in the South African team, he was different from Oswin Apollos. Apollos is brilliant. The role he played under Hugo Broos, excellent. Free role, he was roaming around the pitch. But you could see that he lacked a certain confidence and suave about his game. And you could see that in Lars Foster. So I think what the Egyptian players will also need is that exposure. They have brilliant players, but they are so much like they are more of domestic talent. The only exposure they will get at the international stage will be to play in the CAF Champions League. And at best, if they qualify for the Club World Cup, then they go play in it. I think they will need to be exposed to other leagues. Salah is where he is because, yes, he went through the Egyptian football system, but because of the experiences and the exposure he's enjoyed in Switzerland, in England, in Italy, it has actually built him up into the kind of player he is now. Egypt cannot continue to rest on players who play in the local league and expect them to take them to that level. The game has changed. Maybe back in 2006, it would have been a different story. But now, the game has advanced and a lot of additions. So I think Egypt, for these 2 things, 1, look out for diasporan talent and add them to augment the team that they have, and encourage some of the best performing local-based players to also try elsewhere and get exposed. I think it will help them. As to the quality of coaching, I think Osama Hassan is well suited to the Egyptian national team. Nobody will understand them better than he would, because they've tried Carlos Queiroz, who has coached at the highest level, and you could clearly see the disparity. He wanted to do something with the Egyptian team which was alien to their game. And I think if Osama Hassan had enough quality, maybe the football they played in would have been different. So even without quality talent, he found a way to play the Egyptian way and got them this far. And I think if they have quality talent that can match up to what Morocco and the other top teams are presenting, it should not be a problem for him. So these are the 2 things I expect Egypt to do, and they'll be good to go. But I don't think they'll do anything better at the World Cup.
We'll see. Senegal getting through at Egypt's expense in terms of the AFCON semi-final. Gary Smith has also joined us. Gaza, good morning. How are you doing?
Doing well. Tired.
How you are in Rabat? How's the weather? How is Rabat feeling the morning after the night before?
Because apart from the fact that it's cold for a Ghana boy like me, I think the city is bouncing. Should be the word. Because as I don't know if it was Asarabudu who said it yesterday, I don't think Morocco have faced anybody in a very long time.
This is Sporty FM.
As an African opponent and been this afraid, I don't think Morocco have faced anybody.
Well, who wouldn't? I mean, it's Nigeria in the semi-final.
Then before the game. So there was... Hello?
Yes, Guy, we can hear you. We lost you for a second, so you can keep going. You are back on the line now.
Oh, right. What do you call it? I said I don't remember Morocco facing anybody that puts this kind of fear in them before the game. So there was palpable tension. You know, they were legitimately afraid of the threat Nigeria posed, and for good reason, I guess.
Sporty FM.
But after the game, there was a real sense of relief and a belief that still the job is not done. I think that is the key thing I have taken away from the way people are feeling and what I notice. That all this talk about, the person who will win this game will win the AFCON, I did not see it. I sense a feeling of we have beaten Nigeria, we've gone past them, but as Senegal too are around, we have to do the job to get past them to also win the final. So yeah, I think that's what people generally are feeling like at the moment.
Okay, we'll come back to the game itself, Morocco, Nigeria. You observed that, so we'll get a lot of your input. I was asking Michael something concerning Senegal, Egypt, and I wanted to ask you this. Where do you think Egypt go from here? And do you get the sense that Mo Salah would want to give this one more go, or you think it is curtains for him in terms of chasing an AFCON trophy?
All right, I'll start with the second question first. Mo is 33. Mo is the kind of person, I think those who watch Liverpool religiously will even bear me out on this. He's the person who has, and if you have listened to some of his pre-Liverpool stuff, where he was speaking more freely, since he came to Liverpool, he's become an entirely different player when it comes to media engagement. So he has barely shown the human side of himself, but there is quite a bit of material from his pre-Liverpool days, especially when he was at Basel and Fiorentina, when he was on his way to becoming a world-class athlete. That gave me a sense of the way he really thought and what he really thinks of football, of longevity, and so on. That is to say, Mo Salah is very, very, very much like Ronaldo and Messi. He actually sees himself in those stratospheres, in those firmaments. And so because of that, I am highly doubtful that at age 33 and in this kind of physical form, Mo Salah will say that a 7-game tournament where he has still not won, where he still might feel there's a redemption story there somewhere, is off the cards for him, and he will chalk it off and say, I won't play again. If he says he won't play for Egypt again in the AFCON, or this will be his last AFCON, then Nathan, it will be for extremely personal reasons.
Okay.
Not for footballing reasons. Yes. The football reasons, the personal reasons, I suspect, will be, now let me tackle the first question, which will be contextual to the second question. The football reasons or the personal reasons of both why Mo Salah will leave Egypt or not play the AFCON again are because of where Egyptian football has been in the last 10 years. Again, I'll pick up from where Asaribodu left off, and where the team is now, where Egyptian football is now, where the senior national team is now. Asari, I think what you wanted to say was not the Arab Spring, it was the Port Said disaster, not the Arab Spring.
Okay.
Yeah, the Arab Spring, it barely had an effect on the, I think it was the Port Said disaster of 2012. That was the seminal moment. Yes, Arab Spring was something a bit different. So the Port Said disaster, everything that Asaribodu chronicled as being the effect of the Port Said or the Arab Spring is actually the Port Said disaster. It's what has precipitated the production line of Egyptian football being so cut or being so bad these days as compared to what we used to know Egypt to be. And yesterday I said, when we started, and I said in the interview the day before, when you called me before the quarterfinal, that Mo Salah has said in almost every interview for the previous 3 games, he has reminded us of how many locally based players he plays with versus how many European based players the other teams play with. And it's important, you see. So anytime I hear Ghanaian, anytime people will call your show, Blaster, if they don't want to play, we'll select 11 local boys. Let them play. All our AFCONs have come from locally based players. You don't know what you are talking about.
Well, so Gary, that means we should be thinking about the Hudson Odois and then the Nketiahs coming. Was that what you are saying?
No, I'm talking about local. No, people say we'll take the Ghanaian Premier League play. That's what people say. Yeah, if the Blasters won't play, we'll take the Ghana Premier League players, especially when issues of bonuses and things arise, right? Yeah, if they don't want to play, we'll go and we'll give the players in Ghana. You know what they say? We'll give them $2,000 and then they'll go and deliver for us. Please. The football being played right now in Africa, right? You can't do that. You won't get anywhere. I like that's why I don't want to belabor the points, because as I heard you literally touch on everything. As I heard you give the example of Lyle Foster versus Apolis. Apolis is a fantastic player. And Apolis needs to go to Europe now. now. Like, the situation is so interesting that if Apolis even goes to Holland and the Netherlands in this transfer window, 1 year from now, he'll be a completely different beast from what we saw at the AFCON. And at this AFCON, he was very, very good. So let me just sum up with what a lot of Egyptian influencers and broadcasters and big names have said. That's why I didn't speak. Sorry.
Okay.
I like to get context because I like to. And thankfully, if you have noticed and you have been on X this AFCON, the algorithm somehow, it seems to know what you want and it sends you to whichever. I'm sure you've noticed.
Yes,
right?
yes. That's how it's been.
Yeah. So for some reason, the algorithm gave me like a fantastic chunk of heavy hitters in Egyptian football, administrators, people in Egyptian society, and one thing was clear. All of them were celebrating Hussam Hassan in context of where Egyptian football and the national team is at the moment. That was very, very clear. And all of them were saying, look, we can do all the scientific analysis of XG, of high pressing, of all those fancy buzzwords. The fact of the matter is that the Egyptian national team had a very, very small chunk of world-class or even proper game-changing talent and an assorted cast or a starring cast of very average players to support it. And so you can't blame Hussam Hassan much.
Yeah.
And that's what they were saying. I don't know, I think it was Kelvin who was also saying, and Asari who were saying that, look, this Egyptian team, if there's a team that played to its strengths and followed its strengths religiously at this AFCON, it was Egypt.
Yeah.
They just came to the end of their strength game, and Senegal were, unfortunately for them, stronger and better and faster in every respect.
Well, yes, I think a lot more about that. Now, Gary, we've already delved a lot more into the game that Asaribodu witnessed, but you also witnessed the other semi-final, and I think it was just one of the best games we've seen. How do you sum it all up? What you witnessed yesterday from the fans' perspective, from the game itself, and the aftermath.
One perspective, it was a very one-sided affair. Morocco made sure long before the game kicked off, and you see, there is something that is I am being taught. Every day has been like school over the past few months for me. Morocco invited us to this country to come and witness, just like, you remember, before the 2022 World Cup, Qatar invited a few of us from around the continent to come and see how they were getting ready for the World Cup. And so, it gives you a certain perspective that the ordinary person or those who just came to Morocco don't see. And for me, the one word I keep coming back to and that I have kept saying on this show and on this network is how intentional they are. Look, you see, from the get-go, I think yesterday Nathan was the one who asked me about the ticket or someone asked me.
Yeah.
And I said, they have done something that is not normal, which is that typically in tournaments, after the group stages is when they really open, the ticket sale for when they get to know the kinds of opposition and all that. But for this tournament, they made sure that semi-final and final were available from the get-go. And so Morocco, having worked out the permutations long before and knowing that their team is strong, they did something. Moroccans did something. They bought the bulk of the tickets for the final from the very beginning.
Wow.
Yes. If they didn't get here, they would have put it on the black market, or they would have put it on the resale the secondary markets. The FIFA platforms also have the secondary market, right?
Yes.
So, yes. But once they had it, there was no way. So you, the other team, you are not even sure you will get to the final and you are not from here. So you couldn't, but yes. So they ensured that for quite a while now, whoever they face in the final was going to be the underdog in the stadium. And you will see that on Sunday.
Okay.
In other countries and in UEFA and stuff, they have the EU law. Even EU law will not allow UEFA to let the host nation be so dominant in terms of how many people. They won't allow it in serious countries. The EU law, they call them the Competition Council or something like that. Sorry. In England, they call it the Fair Pricing Committee again, or something like that. Sorry, I'm a bit tired, so some of the things
that's fine.
Yes, but they are. If it is in Ghana, we'll call it the Consumer Protection Agency, right?
Yes.
They are so powerful. They can make sure that all these things are under their purview. A host nation cannot have the percentage of tickets that Morocco has been getting. No, it's not going to happen. But I mean, TIA, this is Africa, this is Morocco. And so you are going that on Sunday as well. I think I said before the game, I mentioned my number was 600 to 700. That's what I said. So there are about 600 or 700 Nigerian supporters in there. Yesterday it was even less.
Wow.
It was even less. It was even less. So they made sure that's the Nigerian national team supporters, the Nigerian supporters, as they call them, the supporters club. They call them the supporters club. Usually, and those who have watched football for a long time will bear me out on this. You can hear them drumming and singing, and you can hear them.
Yeah, you hear the brass band. You hear the brass band.
You couldn't hear the brass band. They were so drowned, it was not funny. And remember, this is a 65,000, almost 68 to 70,000 facility we are talking about.
Yeah.
Yesterday the number was what? When it came onto the screen,
I think 65,000 and a bit of 500. Yeah, 65,500. Yeah, something around that number.
65,458.
Yeah.
65,458. So yeah, that's what the fans. That's the first question you asked me. Now about the game itself. Daniel Lai was not the reason that Nigeria lost this game. Okay? When they say a referee is the reason why you lost, it means that his performance was so one-sided that there was no material way. There was no footballing way. He prevented you from playing the football so much that there was no way that you were going to be able to have a chance of winning the game. That was not the case yesterday. Did referee Daniel Lai have decisions that impacted the rhythm of the game at selected moments? Yes. What are the cases in point? Just so that if anybody quotes me, they don't quote me out of isolation. For example, just a few. The Calvin Bassey yellow card.
Yeah.
Anyone who knows football and watches football and has followed football knows that sometimes a yellow card or a caution or a decision, if you like, on an influential player in a team puts the fear of God in everybody else.
Yes.
Sometimes, yes. The yellow card came at a time when Calvin Bassey was exerting his unbelievable authority that we have seen throughout the tournament on the game. He was mammoth. If Nigeria had won, he would have been the man of the match. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It came at the time, and immediately it cooled the temperature of the Nigerian defense. Okay. We saw some 1 or 2 50-50 challenges, and I'm sure everybody who watched the game would have noted it. You know, that probably should have gone Nigeria's way. That were not either given or they probably went Morocco's way. But I think that immediately I say this, I would say look at the bigger picture. And you know, in football too, we have a saying that if you come prepared as a team, the decisions will even out. I'm sure you've heard it before.
Yes.
You hear it a lot in the EPL and Champions League. That refereeing decisions even out over the course of 90.
Sure.
That's a cliche. And Brahim Diaz had a blatant penalty shout in his favor that should have gone, in my opinion, to Morocco. It wasn't given. Okay. And a few other things there. Yeah. So people will say that, look, Daniel Lai was not the reason Nigeria lost. But I can understand if they say that some of the decisions he took, as few of them as they are, probably disrupted the rhythm of the Nigerians and the pressing game that they were expecting to have and so on. But I don't think so. Why? This Nigerian team is too experienced, too exposed, too well-traveled to let that kind of, 50-50 affair, especially when you are playing against a host nation. And I've always said this. I think I said this even yesterday. You see, when you're playing against a host nation, you have to go in there knowing, and this happens all over the world. This is not a Morocco. No. All over the world.
Yeah.
You are going to play in a Champions League, and all the teams like to say it. Everything I'm going to say, I'm going to give examples. Real Madrid will say, hey, 90 minutes in the Bernabeu. Hey, what did they say? They have a saying. 1 minute in the Bernabeu is longer than 90 minutes in something.
Yeah.
Then they'll close the roof. Then they'll do this. Then they'll do that. Why? Home advantage. They want to. Anfield. What do they say about Anfield?
Yeah.
They say the crowd is the 12th man, and we have seen it play out time and again in places like Anfield, in Turkish stadium, when you go to Istanbul. So when you are going to play, you are already expecting that certain calls, as human as the ref is, he might not get a 10 over 10. He will get an 8 over 10. But some 1 or 2 decisions, some throw in here, So that is why I'll say that the Nigerians shouldn't blame Daniel Lai, because truly speaking, the Nigerians couldn't play their normal game and couldn't exert themselves that in a way that we expected them to.
Yeah.
That is to say, and just to finish off, based on that, Nigeria, even Eric Shell,
he admitted. Yeah, he said they missed out on their press by 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters.
By 1 meter or 2 meters.
Yeah, and it actually helped Morocco to play better.
Because Morocco kept their press on from minute 1 to minute 90.
Yeah.
This is Sporty FM.
And we did establish yesterday before the game, Kelvin and Asari. We established, Asari Boydou and I, we spoke about the fact that the most pressing, consistent team was going to win the day. And it was Morocco.
Yeah.
When you went to penalties also, you were lucky enough for the game to go to penalties.
Guy, before the penalty shootout, I think there's a lot of us were also concerned with the absence of Ndidi. Do you think that also affected Nigeria there? Because with his experience as the leader of the team, he actually instigates the press.
And first of all, my answer to you is 200%. Within 15 minutes, I'm sure Wilfred Ndidi would have had his head in his hands and saying, oh my goodness, I should be in this game.
Yeah.
What what they lacked was his range of physical attributes. And yesterday, the expression I used was that his range of physical attributes allows him to do two things.
Mm-hmm.
He switches from defense to attack like nobody can. Remember, let me give you Wilfred Ndidi's CV when it comes to that.
Yeah.
He is the reason that Daniel Amate lost his place at Leicester. You remember?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Ndidi. Yeah.
How many games did it take Ndidi to kick Daniel Amate out?
Very few games.
Daniel Amate came to AFCON for us.
Mm-hmm.
In an AFCON Nigeria didn't qualify for.
Yeah.
Amate came. Oh, we said Daniel Amate is coming to AFCON. He was doing well at Leicester City. Yeah. Bro, by the time he came, Leicester said, Amate, you are good. Somebody is better.
You've lost your
his
place.
Element.
Yeah.
Look, Ndidi in his element. Ndidi was so good. Remember, it's not just Amate. You see the Senegalese player who is bossing it for them now. Nias.
Yes, Nias, yeah.
Ndidi is the reason that he rough tackled two very good African DMs out of their position.
Mm-hmm.
Amate and Nias of Senegal. And Nias is not a bad player at all. But when Ndidi is on form, he clears all these people out. That's how good Wilfred Ndidi is. There's no player Nigeria has anywhere in the world who is better than Ndidi, even as old as he is right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree.
Now let's get to the shootout.
Now the penalties.
Yeah.
And now the penalties.
Sporty FM.
Look, if Samuel Chukwueze were Ghanaian, okay, not Ghanaian. Ghanaians, we don't do that. If you were Cameroonian, if you were Algerian, if you were Turkish, and some Albanian, some Eastern European countries, by now his house would have been burnt.
Yeah. The case of Pierre Wombi.
No, I'm not even joking. You know, certain countries, you don't do this and go back home. You can't go back home.
Pierre Wombi.
Yeah, Pierre Wombi of
Cameroon.
Okay, I was thinking it was Achille, but it was Pierre Wombi. Yeah. The ball he hit over the bar, we are still looking for it.
Yes.
Look, you are not getting some to play for the team.
Mm-hmm.
You are a good player. Even for the larger team, you are a decent option. But because of tournament football, you don't fix what is not broken. So the coach has found the rhythm and he's sticking to it. In the final game where you can get immortality, you are given the national duty to come and shoot one kick.
Yeah.
When you decide that when you stand, you walk the ball into the net like this. Yesterday, I was looking for the words, and I think because I was so tired, the English was not coming. But then one of my friends, an Israeli guy, we were talking about a game, and he used the word. I would have used the fact that maybe the words I would have used were, oh, it was unfortunate, it was reckless. But he said, Gary, Chukwueze's action in the penalty shootout was irresponsible, and that is the word I would choose. You see, it's such an apt word that, because you see, reckless suggests something. Irresponsible means they have given you a responsibility to execute, and you decide to be irresponsible. I mean, how do you play a penalty like that?
And that was almost like his first or second touch of the entire game.
I am not Nigerian, and I'm so annoyed. As a football fan, you want to see because they are professionals.
Yeah.
There's a bare minimum you expect of professional footballers.
Mm-hmm.
You don't do that. And it was, you see, the reason I'm angry is that it was such a crucial penalty. It was remind me, Chukwueze was the third or so.
Yeah, he was the
Morocco had missed.
Morocco had missed.
Yes.
This is the penalty. This in the Ghanaian equivalent in the 2015 AFCON. This should have been the Efriye.
Efriye Aqua.
Would it have been the Efriye? What's his name again?
Efriye Aqua. Efriye Aqua.
This would have been the equivalent of the Efriye Aqua penalty. It would have been the game-changing penalty for Nigeria yesterday. Because no matter what happened, it would have put them 2 penalties or put
them a penalty ahead.
A penalty ahead.
Yeah.
And it would have given them the 1 penalty cushion that they needed to keep Europe to keep Morocco at bay until the end of the penalty. You know, and it is such an irresponsible penalty that Chukwueze must be shielded for a while. Otherwise, you know, it was just so bad. Morocco, on the other hand, you see, this is a team that came prepared for any eventuality.
Yeah.
You see how they executed their penalties. Even the penalty that was saved.
Yeah.
Look at the finesse with which it was played. And I'll have to single out Nwabali Also's penalty performance yesterday. It was decent, you know?
Yeah,
it was decent. But Morocco were better on the day, even on the penalty shootouts, well executed as to Nigeria's and offerings, in my opinion.
Gary, I'll be coming back to you. But Michael, yesterday, lots happened. But I'm sure you have your own, picks from the game. What did you make of the entire performance of the Nigerian team? Gary is of the opinion that yes, Daniel Lai wasn't the reason Nigeria lost. But many will also say that there were a number of decisions that if it affects your flow psychologically, it breaks you down. There was a point in case where Alex Iwobi just knelt to the ground after a clear win of the ball by Onyedika, and you could clearly see that psychologically they were broken down, and you could feel it. Don't you think that also played a part?
No, but I would be shocked if Nigeria did not prepare themselves mentally for such an occurrence, because right before the start of the game, the talk had been about the referee and perhaps a perceived notion that the referee was going to be favoring Morocco at the expense. So they should have prepared for such an occasion. So I don't think it should have affected them. Their psychological preparation towards this game should have been geared towards the fact that, yes, they were not going to have the fans backing them, and then likely officiating was also not going to go according to how they went. So if you go in there, you don't get the results, and you come in like this, I won't really want to buy into that. I would rather want to focus on Nigeria's performance.
Okay, sure.
I think one thing that has carried Nigeria through throughout this competition has been the attack and the ability to create a lot of short actions. If you look at Osimhen, for instance, I love to speak to statistics because I think it gives the best illustration of any point that you want to make. Osimhen has had over 20 shots in this tournament.
Yeah.
Yesterday in the game against Morocco, how many shots did Osimhen have? Again, Ademola Lookman, before this game, had created double figures in terms of chances. Before Algeria, he had created 12 chances in this tournament. Algeria, he added more. But in this game, how many chances did he create? So in entirety, I don't think it was a game Nigeria played to their strength. And I think it's for 2 reasons. One, Morocco did not allow them to. The Moroccan press was as effective as it should be. And yesterday we spoke to this. The 2 teams that played were the 2 best teams in this tournament in terms of pressing. And Morocco pressed that high, 47.4 meters away from their goal area. That is where they start. And that should indicate how keen Morocco were to retain a lot of possession. Again, if you are looking out for teams that hold a lot of possession, Morocco ranks in the top 5.
Yeah.
So they needed the ball, they needed to have control to play their way. And one striking thing is that Morocco is the only team that consistently puts a string of 10 or more passes together without the opponent having a hold of the ball or winning possession back from them. So everything I've spoke to points towards one thing. Morocco played to their strength. And it's a different thing when you compare to Nigeria. The Nigerian game, yes, on paper might look, if they soak in the pressure and try to catch opponents on the break, they will hurt them. But we also fail to appreciate that Nigeria needs a certain level of control to play to the strength of Osimhen, Ademola Lookman. Lookman is not your typical kick and run player. He loves to hold on to the ball, dance with it for some time, and then try to weave past opponents and create openings. Yesterday, he did not get that. Osimhen was not really allowed that freedom. I think the only time Osimhen dominated aerially was 2 instances, I remember. One across from Onyemaichi. Then he controlled the ball and then he laid it off.
Yeah.
Then another, he won a header, but he did not really connect to it. So I think it is Morocco's brilliance and Nigeria's own approach to the game that cost them that performance that we saw. It wasn't your typical Nigerian game. I will not, yes, Daniel Lai might have interrupted their flow, might have affected the rhythm of the game due to some 1 or 2 decisions, but I still think Nigeria, knowing very well what was ahead of them, should have well prepared for it. So if Alex Iwobi would have to collapse on his knees on the pitch because a decision is given against them, then it speaks of Nigeria's ill preparation psychologically for a game of this magnitude. It's the AFCON semi-final. It's against the host nation. Come on. This is the biggest game Nigeria could have played. And I think the biggest of games needs players coming in with a mindset that is ready, tough, prepared for anything at all. And I did not see that from Nigeria.
Michael, I'll come back to you. But Gary, if you look at the performance of Eric Shell at this particular tournament, a lot of us were quite, questioning whether he was going to be able to carry this Nigeria team all this way this far. Do you think he's earned that faith Nigeria had in him, and he actually had a good tournament?
Yeah, he had a very good tournament. Officially, his remit was to get to the semi-final of the AFCON. That was his remit. Oh, sorry, is my video off?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
All right.
His remit was to, so he's what do you call it again? He has met his objective, yeah. Because the remit was set based on the last AFCON, right? And so they thought, if we got to the final the last time, the minimum should be semi-final this time. Okay.
Yes.
And he more than was able to reach that. And of course, he did that in some style as well. Nigerians will look at themselves and say that Eric Shell has been a breath of fresh air for them. He's come at the right time. He's been able to galvanize this team at a very, very crucial time, because we know that following the managerial problems they had with Jose Pesero, Augustine Iguavon, Finidi George, they now needed, somebody to steady the ship. He has more than done that. It is the next level that I'm sure now when Nigerians calm down and they are thinking of it, they would worry whether Eric Shell can take them in games like this.
Yeah.
Okay. When they meet opposition like this, that is what we're worried about. I think that people have generally been not too convinced with Eric Shell's tactical acumen when it comes to a certain high level or high profile team that he has faced so far, or when faced with certain pressure situations. There are a few games in the qualifiers that you can use as an example for this. The Zimbabwe game, case in point, and a few other. But is he growing from strength to strength, and is he learning from the lessons? Kelvin, unmistakably yes. You take the stats and the data from the mistakes he makes, from the mistakes you would have spotted that he makes earlier in his tenure and earlier in the tournament. He's a man who who fixes his errors, and that is all you can pray for in a manager. Temperament. He has the right temperament for a Nigerian national team.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen him talk? Have you seen him relate to the players?
No.
He is the calm the dressing room needs. The Nigerian national team, as we know, it is guaranteed drama and guaranteed chaos. Let's admit.
Yeah.
Because when Eric Shell wakes up in the morning, he doesn't know whether bonuses have been paid, bonuses have not been paid, somebody has insulted. Nigerian national team, anything can happen at any time. You understand?
Yeah.
He doesn't know whether some governor will donate 5 billion naira and they can't find the money, and so it will affect it. Like, he doesn't know. Yeah. It's guaranteed drama. What he's able to control is the way he lets those external decisions influence what happens in the dressing room. Nothing has convinced me more of this than the way he handled, I think Asariboedu hinted at it yesterday or mentioned it yesterday, the Victor issue between the Mozambique game and between the Mozambique game and the game afterwards. Classic managerial, that is a manager.
Yeah.
That is a manager. Yeah, that's a manager. That's a manager. And that is what Real Madrid players have been complaining. If what we hear is true about Xabi Alonso not being able to do. Too much coaching, too little management for the kinds of people he has in the dressing room. You are not now going to teach Vitor Osimhen basics of striking.
Yeah.
No, he's a world-class striker. Ademola Lookman, the guy who scored a hat-trick in a Europa League final.
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah.
Technical.
He's gifted.
The technical metronome of the Atalanta side when he's in the mood. No, you're not going to teach him how to trap a ball. With the greatest of respect, the Nigerian team is not the Black Stars team.
Even with them, they fought the current manager when he tried to do that. So he had to change his ways.
He's trying to change his ways. Even the Black Stars fought the Otoado.
Yeah.
They say, hey, it's not here you come to teach us trap the ball and hold the ball.
Yeah.
No. So Eric Shell is the calm voice they need in the dressing room. This Nigerian team, if I would add anything, in my humble opinion, it will be an assistant coach who, the assistant coaches who have a gift for the tactics.
Yes.
Yes. So
Sporty
if I was if it's a Ghanaian situation, just so that Ghanaians will get an example of somebody I'm talking about, I will get an Ignatius Fosu.
Yeah.
To Kwesi Appiah. Kwesi Appiah will never, ever, unless something happens in their personal relationship, he's never going to take Ignatius Fosu from his side.
Yeah.
Just like Jose Mourinho and Rui Faria.
Exactly. Yeah.
Jurgen Klopp and what was the name of that guy?
Pep Lin- Is it not Pep?
Sorry, please remind me of his name.
Is it not Pep Linus?
Pep Linders.
Yeah.
The one at City now.
City, yeah.
Yes, there was a Paulson as well. There were two guys. There's Kim Paulson or something. Sorry, I've forgotten the name. All the coaches have somebody like that, and they have been notable in that respect. So if, in my opinion, Nigeria need, because of the kind of profile of coach Shell is becoming,
the voice of sports.
In a dressing room full of egos, he's the guy that walks in and everybody calms down. Because when you look at his face, crowd, if you're angry, you stop being angry. Those people, there are some people like that.
Yes.
Like when Ancelotti walks into the dressing room, one look at you and one half smile, then he has poured ice on your anger. You want to be angry, but you can't be angry. Exactly.
Yeah.
But then I think that, in my humble opinion, he has a small limitation tactically. And you can see that in his in-game management.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it was something all of us identified, especially his second house.
In his second house, exactly. So if they can find somebody for him specifically, one, obviously, is somebody he needs to trust himself.
Yeah.
You know, but if they can find somebody like that for him, I mean, it's a given already. His renewal is on the table already. You know, I think they are now going to talk numbers and how much and all those things.
Yeah.
But they would keep him, and let's see how far he's going to take them.
Well, maybe Victor Osimhen too should also be given the captain's armband. He looks more calm and more responsible when he's with the armband.
He did an interview before the game with our senior colleague Oluwashina, who is working for Okeleji, who is working for Netflix for this tournament. And Oluwashina asked him this specific question you are asking. And he said, "Oh, Shina, you have followed my career from when I was under 17, you know. So, you know my upbringing. You know I was born."
Sporty FM.
Osimhen was born in Olusosun.
Okay.
Olusosun is Mamobi, is Nima, is in Kumasi, what can I say?
Moshizongo.
Moshizongo, Abu. His mother died when he was 6 or before 10.
Yeah.
His father had to be, because of that, his father had to be working double time. His father was basically not around to put food on the table. Right?
Yeah.
Sorry, again, because I'm tired. One of his parents died when he was young. I think his mother or so. And the breadwinner also needed to be away. He had elderly siblings who needed to be taking care of him, right?
Yeah, so he had to actually survive on the streets.
That parental control was not there. He had to survive on the street and find his way on his own. He took a decision early in life not to do drugs, not to do any of those social vices. He decided that football was going to be his outlet. He put all his aggression into football. And so he told Oluwashina, "Shina, you know my story. So me, when I wake up in the morning, I'm a captain already. Captaincy comes naturally to me. Nobody in the dressing room can misbehave when I'm around." And he takes it to the pitch as well. You see how he controlled the other players?
Yes.
He told the other players, hey, I'm the captain. When I talk, you don't talk.
Yeah, let me talk to the
All
referee.
the Nigerian players wanted to, remonstrate. One of the instances, I think he didn't come on camera. He told Aqua Adams that if you don't shut up over there, you have to deal with me over here. And when he's the captain, he does not do that. In fact, when he's not the captain, he does not do that. When he's not the captain, he's a problem for whoever is the captain.
Yes.
Yes. So, but you see, Osimhen and captaincy is a very tricky decision.
Yeah.
Because in as much as he has complete control, when he loses it mentally too, it's going to be a big problem.
Yeah. You are doomed.
Because a captain has the right to go and talk to the ref, yes. But a captain must have cool heads at all times.
The voice of sport.
Unfortunately for us, we are not sure which Osimhen will turn up on any day.
Exactly.
So, as for the captaincy, my colleague Solis Chukwu, brilliant writer in Nigeria, has said that Nigeria can do a lot of things well for Victor Osimhen and he for Nigeria. They should keep the captaincy far away from him. Why? He is too somebody who you can't predict.
Radical.
Pardon?
Radical.
Yes, radical, unpredictable. Stephen Appiah captaincy, you know that 85-90% of the time, he'll be a calm head. You can work with those figures. Okay? You can work with those figures. Andre Ayew, if he's captain, you know that on the pitch, he's not going to misbehave. So you can bank on that.
Yeah.
You know my point.
Exactly.
John Mensah, you know that on the pitch, he's not like he can have some control over, he can have some quiet leadership. You make Luis Suarez the captain and you're in trouble. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
You cannot make Luis Suarez your captain. Yeah, he's 50%. He himself is going to fight with the referee. You don't want that. Well, we can name players.
Yeah, lots of them.
Don't make Bernard Dombote your captain.
Not at all.
You know the kind of players I'm talking about now.
Yes, sure.
Good players as footballers, as captain, no. So I would say that yesterday was probably an aberration, But no, on the balance of things, Osimhen is not the kind of player you want as your captain. No, if he's not there, give it to. Okay, Ndidi was not there yesterday.
Yeah.
Who's the other captain they have? Sorry.
The Bassey.
Bassey.
Yeah.
Bassey is also a captain of the team. When Tuesday Congress, they gave it to Bassey as well. I would make Bassey a captain because he leads from the back.
Yeah.
But also temperament-wise, you see, literally and figuratively, if Bassey is coming as a captain and you are Nigerian, look at the size of the man. He's a man mountain.
Yeah.
When he hits your chest one, you feel the pain, you know?
Sure.
And when he speaks, he has a command about him. It comes naturally about him. Osimhen's command is, in Ghanaian parlance, it's giddy giddy.
Yeah.
You know, it's giddy giddy. It's there's an expression I want that's not coming. It's the kind of giddy giddy that is destructive. Yes, it's destructive giddy giddy. It's not the giddy giddy that calms situations down. So I will not make him my captain. No.
Sure. Well, Gary, we've done a lot. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be getting deeper into the final when we return. But Michael, I'll give you the final say. Gary has spoken extensively about Eric Shell and the Nigerian team, their weaknesses and all that. But I think, the final is going to be a bit more engaging. You've also monitored the Senegal team. Pape Thiaw, people were, actually wondering whether he was going to go this far with this Senegal team. Do you see any problems with him, any limitations with him, and how best he can, solve those issues ahead of that final that will be coming up on Sunday? We'll be delving a lot more into that tomorrow. But quickly, what did you monitor yesterday that you think he needs to be sharper and better?
Okay, in tournaments like this, when you get to this stage, you manage more than you coach. You need to manage the emotions, manage the occasion. And that is more important than the 4-4-2, the 4-3-3, or you should play a deep block or do what you have to do. I think it's a management. And luckily for Pape Thiaw, he has in his team a lot of leaders who are able to guide the players on the field of play. On the evidence of what I saw, I think tactically Senegal are well built. They have a template they operate with. And even those coming off the bench know exactly what is required of them from the tactical point of view. So check for Mamadou Sarr, for instance. He came on for Kalidou Koulibaly. In a game of this magnitude, he held his own very well. Went ahead to make some wonderful interceptions and then some clearances. So what I think is, for Senegal, I think they have a coach who, when he speaks, these players listen. And then helping the coach too is a support system both on and off the pitch that helps them to do what they have to do. So I think, I'm not saying they are perfect, but I don't think Senegal has issues.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen. And, Gary, when you meet Oshai Samuel, tell him to read Psalm 23 verse 2 again. Eh? We like it, yes. lying down in green pastures. And then, yes, Michael is also a Zongo boy. Gary, wow. Michael is a Zongo boy from Obuasi Zongo. He's you can't easily deal with him. All right, gentlemen, tomorrow we'll get back to you as we build up to the final, and then you would have our final wrap for the AFCON 2025.
And Calvin, let me just say that content-wise, guys, please, if you have followed Sporty FM on TikTok or Instagram, between myself and Michael, there's so much content that is there. We are doing features, we are doing the usual, the not usual. Please go there and gorge yourself. Ghana was not at the AFCON, but if I may say so myself, our coverage has been more than Ghana being here, so please enjoy the stuff that we have for you on our digital media platforms. Thank you.
All right, sure. Thank you so much. There's a lot more to look forward to as the day goes by. We haven't finished yet, so make sure that you stay glued to our socials. @SportyFM_ on X, @SportyFM_ on Instagram, and @SportyFM on Facebook. Gary, when you meet Michael should serve you with some donuts because Arsenal beat Chelsea at the Stamford Bridge 3-2 in the EFL Cup semi-final. So yes, you need to buy some donut or sandwich for him. Yes, you lost. You lost, didn't you, Lutz? Didn't you?
Habibi, what you are doing to me? No, it's not.
right, thank you so much, Michael Asaribodu. That was it there, yes. And Real Madrid also failed to get their very best results. Yes, they lost in the Copa del Rey, the first game for Alvaro Arbeloa. They have also been booted out of the Copa del Rey. Barcelona will be playing this evening and will be hoping they get a victory to progress to the next stage. That's how we draw the curtains on today's show on Sporty Breakfast. Thanks, Gary. Thanks, Michael Asaribodu. Thanks to the referees, George Seja, and to the entire production team led by Immortal Kwame Ejakwe Champon, Abigail Sena Susu, Emmanuel Ayamga, Fidelis, and then Flyboy Nima, making sure that on the socials we were present. To the entire technical team, we say thank you. I did this with Nathan Quao, and he is coming up shortly with Inside French Football. There's a lot to talk about. Don't forget, PSG were booted out of the French Cup by Paris FC, and then there's a lot more. Marseille also getting a very resounding victory. Mason Greenwood with a hat-trick on the day when they managed to score 10 times against their opponent. My name is Kelvin Owusu-Ansah. Stay tuned as Nathan takes over. There is going to be Sporty Plug at 12:30. Yesterday, yes, a lot of teams decided to mess up the bets, yes, but today we are going to win a lot more as Immortal and the rest of the crew, led by Nana Kwame Labi, sit in to give you the very best odds. And later on, there's going to be the Sporty Drive and then European Night. It's coming back. It makes a return today. So there's a lot for you on socials and also on your airwaves. So stay glued with us. Up next is Inside French Football.
Yo, rock on to Sporty 106.1 FM in Accra, 91.